Welcome back, everybody, for some more SPCS Series 3 action coming on. We have Intermediate, we have Timelost versus Eternal Blue, both 3-1 in the records, both looking real good as we get into our series. I'm Mott, joined by Denji. We're excited to cover this series for you guys. And Denji, let's talk about what we're going through. Because again, we had to go through this really fast. Pairs are ready to go, so we're going to go on the call first round, and I'm trying to get through us as soon as possible. What can you tell me about our rosters?
So both these teams coming at 3-1, a lot of recognizable faces besides Lore, Skip, Skyros, not Nagisa, Lasas. I don't know if Lasas is actually there or not. Caster is a new addition to Eternal Blue 2 as a tank. But the main people I'm looking at the DPS duo of Kairos and Lore. Kairos in-game is known as Cool Guy. Recently played in, I believe, BPL A League on Frogs on Fire in the past BPL seasons, and the guy's a monster on pretty much any hero he plays.
Absolutely. And here's their match history. Like you mentioned, like I mentioned, it's a 3-1 equal series, but it wasn't a cake. It was not a piece of cake to get to that point, right? We have Timelost with a little bit more of a, we have a 5-man series actually that happened for Timelost. And then for Eternal Blue, a little bit more of an easier route, 3-0, 3-0 into a 3-1, and then another 3-0. So they're looking absolutely fantastic. You know, one loss, not too shabby. I mean, both teams ideally losing to the same person, funnily enough, right? So
Function is actually like a really strong team. But going into the ban phase, we do know the bans, I believe. Eternal Blue has opted to ban out Pharah, and Timelost is banning Zarya.
yeah, I mean, listen, Zarya ban's so real right now. You know, new patch came out, and basically they decided Zarya's gonna be one of the better tanks to play alongside maybe a Reaper, maybe a Genji, to give her a high charge and she can beam everyone down. And then Pharah, just for good reason. Nepal in general, great for Pharah. Lots of spacious areas to hide in, especially the really nice high ceilings. You know, for example, literally Nepal Sanctuary. This is one that, or village, excuse me, is one where Pharah can really reign supreme, and the other ones, of course, as well. So, with that being said, Nepal is our first map of the day. Everything else is, of course, to be determined. As you can see, boom, first of 3. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so Zarya being banned, that is one of Caster's main picks. And they didn't really do that much to Zarya to make her like insanely strong. They just nerfed her main counters down, and then the heroes that actually are the other heroes like Hazard and Orisa and Diva, the other ones tanks that are good, she counteracts all of them, and especially with Ramacha kind of being dead now.
I know.
They did my boy dirty. Zarya has come into like a mainstay, and then we're also in a meta where hit scan is the main role that's pretty much dead because everything's fast now. It's pretty much whatever's mobile and can survive the longest. So you're like seeing a lot of Genji, Tracer, Reaper, Genji. Like you're seeing a lot of double flex here. As Timelost showing a Genji Tracer setup, and Eternal Blue showing a Genji Reaper setup. The pretty much Eternal Blue's comp is reminiscent of that the meta where Kiri first came out. Instead of a Genji, it was a Sojourn. Timelost, very interesting. They want a very interesting backline here. They just want to hit the go button because they don't really have long-term sustain if they're going to stay on that Moira.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love that you mentioned that. You know, the Moira coming in from Timelost means that the sustainability is not going to be there. They have the speed to match Eternal Blue, but definitely cannot sustain strides any longer. But ideally, if you're playing this Winston from Eternal Blue, you're also kind of getting in and out as fast as possible. Suzu first out early, as you mentioned, and now everyone's going to the village, going to the temple here to start this fight off. But it comes down to who gets the first pick. It's going to be, of course, as you mentioned, Kairos coming in with that first objective or first elimination in favor of Timelost, and everyone else, as he imagines, starts falling down by the wayside.
Yeah, really nice spear there from Milo onto Argon, ended up forcing Suzu. Sai traditionally is not the flex support for Eternal Blue, and he uses Nagi. I'm guessing that's the support that got Thanos snapped. But Caster has to turn down and get the heck out of there. Does with his life. Kairos trying to get overextend for the kill. Actually does end up overextending. It costs him his life, and that's a little bit of an opening there for Eternal Blue's. Kairos says oopsie.
I mean, that's a big oopsie, you know, overextending like that, getting greedy for a stagger on the Winston was not going to happen, and that gives Eternal Blue a flip in the point here, and now it looks like Timelost looking a little bit more staggered out. You can see a lot of faces and the people looking at different targets. So this allows Eternal Blue to capitalize on that sort of mess of a fight and start getting kills under the belt. 1, 2, 3. Pulse bomb finds Caster though. Could it be a turnaround?
It could be. Lore does go down. Milo does have this Terra Surge available if he wants to use it, but Fargon pulls them down. But that Pulse Bomb does like a 180 onto Caster, I believe, from Cool Guy. So that was props to them. But now you're getting the alt fights here. Eternal Blue got a double support ult coming into this fight. Timelost has a Terra Surge and the Death Blossom. Really good in combo together, but Eternal Blue's comp can just leave the premises if Terra Surge comes out.
Speed, switch step, dash, jump, everything's online here for Eternal Blue, but we are seeing a dive and we lose Lilac early, so no opportunity for the Stomp Bear to be extended from Eternal Blue, meaning the fight against upcoming Death Blossom and Terra Surge might not be fruition here for the side of Eternal Blue. We do commit Rush, but it's up to no avail. Sai is not going to be able to see the beneficiary of that Rush. Neither is resisting to Eternal Blue, and it's a flip here right before 60%.
I feel like Eternal Blue's trying to go, like, they want to set the tempo, but they're going a little too quick. Caster ended up having this jump, like, didn't land where he wanted to, and the dive itself was, like, really uncoordinated itself. Timelost's comp, it doesn't do well in good longer fights just because of that just because of they have Moira assisting. But they do brawl a little bit better in the front with the Death Blossom. Beat somehow gets out from Lilac, goes counter out Lore, awesome, and now it's just the ult finding the point. It's a Primal Rage off from Caster. Lore goes down in the chaos. Lilac is traded back though.
Oh my god, it's been a lot of trades. You know, both backliners from Eternal Blue are offline, but there's two big ults, that being the Dragon Blade and the Blossom online. We are losing the Moira, we're going to be losing Fargon at the same time to trade off that support. And suddenly, yeah, Timelost. They're definitely not losing time here. They're able to get so much value by just kind of taking care of the opposition, who, mind you, still have these DPS ultimates online, and we're still losing out on people.
Yeah, they got staggered there. Rather than see Eternal Blue like just call the fight die point, at least you get the wave spawn that way. But now you're in final fight territory and you get a disjointed spawn. Fargon already getting pressured out here, and he has the Blossom. Fargon has to stay alive here. Susu's already pushing side, but somebody has to touch. Blossom does basically nothing. Blade 2 gets countered by Skips and Speed as everything that could go wrong for Eternal Blue just went wrong.
And I think the area has been cleared. Not for Eternal Blue, however. It was definitely cleared for Timelost. I mean, they just kind of sneezed at that Blossom. They sneezed at the Blade. And even more so, Milo just came in with the Terra Surge. And yeah, it was just to make sure we have that point stable for Timelost. 1-0 so far in Nepal, but things can always change, especially as we're now moving to Temple, looks like.
Yeah. I would say it's like, I think Eternal Blue is trying to figure out how to beat the comp because they don't want to be jumping into the face of the Reaper, of course, but they know they have a little bit better sustain in a long fight. Not anymore, of course, as Milo goes over to the D.Va and Garo goes over to the Kiri. Eternal Blue only making one change to the comp. Llama is going over to Sojourn. Actually, Fargon's going over to Sojourn. Llama over to Reaper. This might come back to bite them because Soj is okay right now, but you force her slide cool now and she's good as dead.
Look at the D.Va, you know, the defense matrix, I mean, mitigating the imperative cooldown from that Sojourn as we were talking about earlier, and her entire game plan can in fact fall apart. But opposite sides are being taken over by Timelost and Eternal Blue. You can see Cool Guy coming up for the bag, not getting scouted out quite yet. And there is the subsequent, elimination onto Fargon as you predicted. Fading out the Sojourn cooldowns, getting rid of the Sojourn, and now suddenly the rest of the team is just kind of meeting back in the spawn room so quickly.
I think Lore just got floor with a 4K right there. But yeah, Timelost just did a really good job of, like, they know they didn't need to get overactive. They had their space, and they've made Eternal Blue make the first move, and they actually can absorb the hit a little bit better than Eternal Blue can absorb a hit from them. And Cool Guy, somebody's got to scout this guy. If he goes unscouted, he just is killing everything. Skip Stump does drop a little bit low, but Caster now is staring down the barrel of a very angry Reaper.
Absolutely. And we're going to teleport over to Fargon. And can we get the elimination? We sure definitely will, especially with the help of Cool Guy right onto Fargon. And mind you, Castor was super deep in that backline. And you can see the elimination coming through, especially with the Diva at the helm, really leading the charge here. Beautiful cleanup. Very easy team fight in favor of Time Lost. And even more so, there's a slight stagger onto Lilac as well. So Eternal Blue has to wait even longer to regroup.
Yeah, Eternal Blue just don't seem on the same page with each other. Time Loss is doing a pretty good job at like creating chaos, creating a little bit more chaos with Cool Guy, distracting other players out. And Eternal Blue, yeah, they are getting targets low, but they're not able to finish the kills just because of Lore and Cool Guy going into the backline, causing distractions. Caster doesn't even follow up, and eventually he'll die.
I hear Rush being used on Goro, also hearing the pulse bomb from Cool Guy, both of which will not get the value needed, at least for the time being, because we're trading out Ty for Cool Guy. You're trading out support for Flex DPS. Honestly, that's a great trade if you're side of Time Lost to continue to have this fight up, and you're gonna even commit the Death Blossom from Lore. Didn't really find too much, but we actually find Llama in the fray, who is 1% away to their own Blossom. You know what? At this point, 85%, you might as well hold up close.
Yeah, Caster does actually manage to pick off Goro, who I think was a little too pushed up there. Now Milo, no armor. He does have the bomb to reset. Beat is committed from skips, but Lore doesn't hit Lore. Loma finds the pick off. But I think as Lore was using Blossom, and now Time Lost, they're going to have to swim at this point. Milo just opts not to use the bomb to reset the mech. That Beat had the right idea for the engage, but unfortunately Lore, their main source of DPS output there, didn't get it in time.
Not only that, but you also lost your biggest healing output, which is that Kiriko early on, as you mentioned. You know, Goro was just kind of looked at by Castor on the upper high ground where you see Timeless actually, you can see Cool Guy's actually hanging on. Funnily enough, you know, but Milo keeping up
I
on
think
that
Kuga's
Blossom.
on their side of the map.
That's why I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the exact same spot as their side of the map. That's where Kiriko died. Overclock comes in, and also the DPS ultimate actually committed, and the Coalescence. I mean, it's a lost fight. But honestly, you baited out so many good resources. It's not entirely a loss here for Time Lost.
No, they bit it. They got a. I don't think the OC and Blossom were were a thing that was called that actually was called out. I think that they wanted to use only one of those with like the Coalescence, but they used 3 ults, and Time Lost doesn't use any because well they didn't have any to start with, and now Cool Guy's still behind them. With also the pulse one ready to go, they are probably just gonna try to play for the Curie Rush from Goro here, but Eternal Blue, they don't have anything left except for Primal Rage, and that ult itself, by that ult on its own, it can give value if the player is really good, but Caster's gonna have to put on his best douchebag impression if they want to hold on to this point.
I mean, Llama's putting on a good impression in and of himself. Beautiful elimination on the lower. That's going to be on to skip. So that's a big opener here for the side of Time Lost. They're going to continue. I'm sorry, Eternal with a big opportunity to keep up this objective. Actually forcing the Diva Bomb to be used from Milo. And there's a quick remake, but at what cost?
The remake, Kukai just hasn't been doing that much. He's actually trying to spawn camp Lilac here. Lilac running live. You managed to get back to the point. Kukai does have this pulse bomb available here. It's going to be Rush coming up as well for Time Lost, but Eternal Blue, because of those 2 picks from Llama, they actually might be able to live this caster. Just shrugs off the pulse bomb, and now Kukai no cooldowns left. Primal Rage out from caster. He gets picked off somehow in the chaos. Colonel eventually does go down, but right now the trades are going Time Lost way.
I mean, Time Lost has no support though. They have to make it work with this Blossom. They're gonna do it. They're gonna bully Caster off the point, force overtime, force. The Zombie coming in from Lilac. It's just Caster who's gonna be the receiving end of it. I just now responds from the spawn room. Can we fade back to the point in time? Not before Caster inevitably gets ganged up on by Cool Guy, who has finally waken back up. And there is the timer going down. And it's a 2-0 on Nepal for Time Lost.
A 2-0, but kind of a stressful 2-0 as I think Eternal Blue realized that Cool Guy wasn't in 90% of the fights on that point, and just kept taking 4v5s. Engagement for Time Lost was actually ready, as Skips does get to play the game here. But yeah, Cool Guy, I mean, he was like set up for a pinch angle, which is really good, but like it was never timed correctly, and Eternal Blue just did a really good job recognizing the Tracer's in our spawn, nobody's back there. Let's just push W at these 4 in the choke.
No, literally, my man was 2 fights behind at all times. I loved it. I
Bro was trying to do his best, like, I don't know. I'm
I
trying to
don't
think
even
of
know.
some like I'm trying to like think of some like movie superhero that's like his whole entire thing is stealth and it just
Bro
doesn't
thought he
work.
was James Bond
Um,
for a second. Like he really, he was not the
that's where I
sneaker. He
was
was the
going. That's where I was gonna think. I mean, if he was sitting on top of that high ground, I would have said he was trying to do Batman cosplay, but you know.
He might be absoluting out. He might be absolute Batman. I don't know. He was trying to do something, but you know what? It came back in the end. He came back to the team and helped that last fight go in favor of Timelost. 1-0 already in the first to 3. And now Eternal Blue, they have some choices to make. They have some places to go. And I feel like, you know, with this map pool kind of being the way it is, there's so many places we can go. You know, they're very popular on going to a Cervasa, looks like. They like to go Cervasa next usually. Cervasa, I mean, yeah, literally, actually, not gonna lie. Every single one of their wins and losses, they win Cervasa next.
Not really surprised. It kind of does suit their playstyle because of the, especially since Zarya's back on the table.
Yeah, good call on that.
So I won't be surprised if they do decide to go Saravasa or even Atlas, because Atlas is finally back. They fixed that bug where you can fall through the map. It's back. It's playable now. I just found that out when I was playing Quick Play because I saw it come up in the map voting. I didn't actually know it's actually back until literally 2 hours ago.
No, she's back. She's back in all her glory. Thankfully, no one's gonna be, you know, falling downstairs anymore.
No,
but
I mean, people might hate me for this or say I'm a weirdo, but I think Atlas is one of my favorite maps in the game to play.
I don't think that's a bad opinion at all. I mean, I think Flashpoint as a game mode is my favorite so far. Honestly, I think I love Servage. I love New Dunk City. You know, I took a little break from Atlas because she was gone, taking a little vacation from the game. But I like Atlas. I love the design of it. I love the colors. I love the layout. First point is always rough, but I think first point on all the Flashpoints are rough anyway. So it's kind of like a Flashpoint thing. But the rest of it is great.
It's always the first point. Both teams are on pretty level footing because like it's in the same area. You have the same distance to go. It really just comes down to which team can take the most map control fastest or get the first pick or whatnot. You see it happen a lot where like one team takes the first point and then they just completely get stomped like for the next 3. It losing the first point means nothing, really. It can gain you momentum, but actually Eternal Blue not even opting to go Flashpoint. They want to go to push, and we're going to Esperanza.
Yes, going to Esperanza is it's an interesting option. You know, it's push. You know, the first. I think your points still apply for sure. The first fight does matter a lot. I feel like on Esperanza, and even Ruin Sapi to an extent, more so on the push map side of things. So I do think Esperanza is really good. I want to know what the bans could be here, because you can play a plethora of characters. I feel like a ban on maybe the Diva might be important. I think Diva does great on Esperanza. Dive in general does relatively well for the most part, especially on first or quote unquote first. You know what I mean? The little opener area.
The opener area,
yeah.
yeah.
The opener area.
Ish is the one push map where I think it has the highest percentage of comebacks that I've seen happen on the push maps. Like the map itself is probably like the best design out of the 4 push maps in the game because it does allow the deficit team to actually have a chance at coming back. Unlike in my opinion, the worst map for a comeback is Coliseo because you just get into
Yes.
that deficit and then they have high ground control where the bot has to hit checkpoint, and
I
then
was
you're just
just
like
gonna
fighting a
say.
losing battle. The other 2 are like pretty much neutral because they don't have that high ground. Each Bronson does have that high ground overlooking the first checkpoint where a lot of teams do get stuck. But if you can break that, then you move into an area where it's pretty even footing. But it looks like they might be getting their actual ringer that they wanted. Eternal Blue might be. But Ish, I feel like this might be a pick that comes back to Eternal, just because you're kind of enabling cool guy to Preco mode on Tracer.
That's okay. That's also what I'm worried about. I feel like. I think what also made it worse is that there was no one checking the tracer. There was no other tracer that usually kind of fights that tracer somewhere off in the distance where you don't really care about, and that keeps each other in check. I feel like with allowing Cool Guy to continue to do literally whatever he wants, because no one's gonna check him. What is gonna check him? Lucio? No. Reaper? Not really. Reaper has different things to do. Reaper has a different job to overtake.
Timelost have locked out the possibility of a tracer ban. They are banning Reaper.
I mean, not a bad ban at all either, you know? And this also goes back to mitigating the Zarya comp a little bit, because Reaper is super popular with Zarya, Zarya is popular with Reaper. So you can play Zarya here, but you're not gonna have Reaper to give you that backup, give you that 40% charge per bubble, you know? So I think it's a backhanded Zarya ban for time loss as well.
Yeah, the other option is you do a Genji with it, and like the
Yep.
Genji acts like the main charge getter. Of course, the Genji doesn't really have the 2 cooldowns to get out like Reaper does. He can dash in and then he's kind of there. Um, but Reaper can walk in with a bubble and then Wraith out or teleport. So a little bit more disengage power. As Eternal Blue banned Lucio. Interesting. They want to slow the game. This basically signals a Wu Yang centric backline, because when Lucio's not been in the support rotation as currently, it's usually been like Wu Yang Brig, Wu Yang Ana, Wu Yang Kiri. Most popular, it's been Wu Yang Kiri, just because you have the single target healing from Wu Yang, focus on one person. He has a lot of damage output, a lot of mobility with his rushing torrent, a lot of util with the wave. Kiri, of course, has always been strong with teleport. Suzu, Rush being one of the strongest ults in the game, of course, and she can still like her DPS output too. Pretty strong, but the only things recently, the only things that Blizzard did to nerf the cooldown on is wave and rushing torrent, and I think they decreased the actual length that wave can hit.
Yep.
But it hasn't really affected the meta, in my opinion. You just have to be a little bit tighter on how you're using wave, how you're rushing torrent, and perk picks though for Wing. I've seen both. I've seen mainly the combination is when you're using your movement ability, you get a little bit more healing output under the target your beam is on. The major has been like a toss-up of what you really need. It's like half the time it's been the reverse wave, half the time it's been the triple orb.
Yes. I mean, you're right. You know, the triple orb has been the most popular one so far. My camera died. Don't worry about it. And it happens to the best of us. But I think also with the new patch that came out just today at 2 o'clock, there was a slight bug fix to Wu Yang's ultimate. You know, I believe it was something about the actual range was incorrect. It was like hitting targets that were technically further than the actual.
Oh, there's a
yeah.
It was a bug. Basically, what the bug was if you, as you're moving backwards, if you melee and then hit your heal button, melee hit your heal button, melee hit your heal button, melee hit your, you could keep backing further away and still the game would register that you are close enough to hit your target.
Yeah. So they fixed that. They corrected it. And
yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about what time loss is on right now.
We don't have to. You know, this is just funny shenanigans.
Are they actually
not
okay? The
better.
ball.
It did not get any better. Okay.
Okay. The wrecking ball sort of made sense with the rest of it. Okay, now they're on a wrecking. Okay, they're on the wrecking ball is pretty strong as the current state right now. Eternal Blue, yeah. They're bringing out a pretty traditional dive. I will say that Adai and Lilac on the support line are going to have their hands full with the Sombra and the Pharah and the ball and even the Kiri at times, especially since the Pharah is pocketed too, which makes it even worse, as that's already going to force Eternal Blue's support line to play a lot more careful where they can go, as Adai already dropped super low, and Adai will be dropped. Caster goes straight on the lore, but Timelost got the better trade there.
Absolutely, you're still seeing this Far Mercy come into fruition from Cool Guy and from Skip. To lose lower, great loser Sombra is going to be back in a couple of seconds. It just all comes down to Fargon to find at least somebody in the air, and we find the Mercy first. Second one going down will be the Pharah. Good move to negate the high ground and being taken over by Fargon, and now you're being led by this ball, by this Kiriko. Either way, objective has still kind of been in the middle of the point here. Comes back to the spawn room. We are making things up. Goro. And Casper says, oh, if Kiriko no cooldowns, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a cleanup for Eternal Blue. They're going to be pushing 15 meters and further.
Yeah, Eternal Blue just has like a better... Timeloss's comp is basically like overtime pressure off of hits from Wrecking Ball, and they have but Eternal Blue's comp is like all in on one target, which is going to most likely be, which was mainly lore on the Sombra, but now his lore goes over to Soldier, so lore is kind of asking for it now because he's on a hero that is going to get dove out of all of the 5 players here. Eternal Blue, they have the lead right now. Adai does get dropped again very low. Lilac too, as But Sai is actually doing a pretty good job at just making sure Milo cannot play the game, and Fargon picks Cool Guy, and then Laura picks Sai.
And then Caster gets some Mercy as well, skips along the engagement, now overly relying on just Goro to supplement the healing for this ball and for everyone else. But finally, we had decided this far is not working into Fargon, who's now popping off with overclock in the back pocket. Let's go Tracer, let's go Mirror side here, but the ult economy is so good for Eternal Blue. Not only that, they are pretty much at the checkpoint spot. Light contest coming through, and the rail shot goes onto Fargon, finally negating the other Sojourn in the fight. There goes Odd Eye, taken down by the pile driver from Milo. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up the fight for Timelost.
Timelost did C9 the checkpoint, though.
A little bit.
So,
the tree.
Eternal Blue do have the checkpoint. They do have the forward spawn, so that's one less thing they have to. Timelost, yes, they are coming up on ultimates. They have Kitsune, Valkyrie, and Mines. Of course, Valkyrie is Valkyrie. Mines can just section out the rotation here. Kitsune can just be used wherever, as Milo is playing a little bit of pinball up on the roofs here. But Eternal Blue, locked and loaded with 5 ultimates ready to go.
And I'm hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I just died to his own pulse bomb.
My youngest guy dies to their own pulse bomb. We have the rush, we have the Valkyrie also being used for the nano from Odd Eye on to Mario, now using Casper's primal. The Bash takes, or not even the Bash, the Whip Shot takes care of Cool Guy in the middle of the fight. Lilac, the only one with the discipline to hold on to our rally. Will it be enough, though, to help Casper come back? We do. Come back, take care of Laura. Beautiful. Good turnaround here for Eternal Blue. Just need to get the bot back in our favor.
Yeah, so it was Pulse Bomb, Nano, OC, and Primal change for free and Minefield. So it's going to be Rally versus OC and Pulse Bomb. Of course, OC itself is a big threat, as Milo doing a little bit of stalling from underneath there, under the bridge. But Eternal Blue, they burned a lot of ultimates there. They did get block control back, which is really good because they sent the block control back into Timelost territory. And now Cool Guy is doing his another James Bond impression aside, trying to make this Wrecking Ball just go away.
They're coming onto the high ground. We're such low HP. Milo has to use the defense skills for themselves. The stick onto the Ana comes to fruition, but the it's so hard to watch. The rally comes in, we still die anyway, and just for some extra salt in the wound, the overclock finds not one but 2 heads to finish that fight.
I think the Pulse Bomb got stuck to Lilac, and Lilac rallied at the perfect frame to survive the actual explosion, but I couldn't get them back up in a fighting shape in time for the rally to be actually a thing. The only good news is Timelost had to use Pulse and OC there, so now Eternal Blue are a little bit better with ult. I mean, they do have this Pulse Bomb to work with as long as Sai doesn't die to it again, but Eternal Blue support line getting harassed. While Caster somehow manages to find skips out of nowhere. Fargo will be traded, now Lilac is down and out. Caster doing his best to try to carry this team fight, but the support line are gone, and so is Fargon.
I mean, you saw you could see on that high ground the amount of just everything going on that back line. The Tracer, the ball, here we go. Everyone was out to get some blood, and it was definitely a lot of bloodshed on that bridge here. Even more so, getting Sai and Caster a little bit later means that this is almost a free ticket into not just a checkpoint, but also advancing past the 64-meter marker.
Yeah, Sai and Caster are back in the spawn, but a little late, and you would usually have Sai go touch here, but Caster manages to get there just in time. Slam comes in here from Timelost. Milo doesn't get into the rush in time, and the Eternal Blue somehow, someway are holding under the barely.
I mean, it was the anti, it was the sleeve, it was the rig bash as well. Everything went in favor to take care of that wretched ball, and we're still trying to get this fight in favor back in for Timelost, waiting for their ball to come back, which is definitely doable, but the Valk needs to come to fruition. We're on our Kiriko and Tracer, but we're not going to be able to save our Sojourn. We lose Odd Eye, though. That's big. No Ana means Brig is naked by herself as well. Taking care of Lilac after the fact is massive. The Minefield negating any sort of retreat from the opposition, unless they want to get blown up.
Wait, Caster got two with one jump!
This could be it. Wait! The 2K coming in from Castor, beautiful, but still fought in favor of this ball so far.
Yeah, Caster, again, holding down the fort on his own. He's trying to buy enough time for Oddeye, ideally, to come back with the Nano Boost. I think he's trying to get... Oddeye does manage to get some heals onto it as Eternal Blue still again.
Yo.
Sai! Wait, Cool Guy got taken down by a false ball that was stuck to the ball!
We don't stand still in the Big 25? No!
No. In Milo's defense, Milo stood still.
I'm listening, I'm
Cool
listening.
Guy just walked into it. Cool Guy just walked into that.
All right. The jury pleads not guilty. You got it. That is death row for Cool Guy, as we do have Pokemon online for Timelost. We have the Nano coming in, proc onto Castor, who is going to go straight for that Mercy, and then subsequently onto Laurer after the fact. So far into the opposition, 1, 2, 3. Full charge in favor of that Primal is racking up even more so. This is a great place to be for Eternal Blue.
Yeah, if you're a Timelost, this Mercy ball comp just isn't working. You're not getting the hits cleanly, you're losing players, Guro's hiding, I guess. But Caster kind of looking like Prime Goose right out here with how he's just been carrying these fights. Violet Slam comes in, does basically nothing. Actually did get Oddeye up in there somehow, and the Violet and Oddeye were split. And there's Cool Guy's Pulse Spell onto Fargon, and now Timelost, they will get the bot back in control, but only after losing another 20 meters. Caster is still alive and close.
Live. So is Lilac, but at some point they will be called out to go out a little bit, staggered out a tiny bit as well. But the bot is back in the favor of Timelost, so they have a lot to make up. About 30 meters, in fact, with only a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, the only good news for them is they do have 4 ults ready to go. Eternal Blue, though, you can say the same thing. They have almost ready to go too. With Rally to absorb hits, they have the Primal for Caster to go in further. Farground with OC. Sai almost does lose his life. But Caster and Fargon combined for a hit on the Lore, and Lore, that's your OC gone already, and Milo, that is not what you meant to do, and he just will take his leave.
You know what, it's alright, but the res comes in thanks to, so it's still a 5v5, forcing the overclock coming through from Lore. We lose Goro though, that's not what we wanted to see, and I'm so busy committed onto the checkpoint. We have the Primal online as well, and the Rally. Will it be enough against the Valking Fib? I'm pretty sure it will be, because we lose Lore in the engagement, and we need to retreat ASAP. So we're looking at this Mercy, we're looking at this Tracer like it's a next meal. And then we had the on the back line trying to escape by the skin of their teeth. Will it happen? I don't know. We have the shields, and you get picked up by the Winston. Yeah, you're done, buddy. You're done, buddy.
That's
you're
a
done,
late
buddy.
Sag on the Milo. They do with the rush. Lore has gone back to the far, even though it really wasn't working to start with, and now you're going to have Nano, OC, Pulse Bomb up for Timelost. You're in good shape. Milo finally abandons the Wrecking Ball for the Diva, but it might just be a little too late here as Suzu's already forced, but Lore manages to kill Sai before Sai can deploy that Pulse Bomb, and now Eternal Blue, they just have to play defensively here. They know they don't have to push it super fast. They win what they like. Caster finds Lore of all people, and here comes the OC from Fargon.
I mean, Fargon is trying to find somebody. He's looking all over the place, trying to find a single head who isn't his own team. We have 6 going down though, and Castor once again comes in
with a double
the rest of the kills. With that Nano on top of it, there's a team back onto the Diva. No bomb to be seen. Laura is only now spawning, so there's gonna be no touch. And then the dance at the end. Eternal Blue even up the points here, 1-1.
Yeah, they do well in their map pick. This guy right here, Caster, time and time again, it was when fights looked lost, he manages to turn them 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. I've never seen a Winston get more jump pad kills than anything else. As there's a couple of times where Caster just landed on somebody and they died. But now Eternal Blue making good on their map pick, tying the series up, as I think it just came down to Timelost. They didn't realize that their comp wasn't working early enough, and by the time they did realize it, it was too late.
Yeah, it was way too late. That Mercy was in there for a little too long, I would say. A little too long.
I forgot Skips was on Mercy like at the halfway point.
I was like, why are we on Mercy still? Like, wait, hold on. You know, pocketing my soldier is great and all, but buddy. I think that just comes down to the Lucio ban, right? Like I think Skip is just very comfortable on Lucio and didn't have the opportunity to play the character. So with that being said, you know, I still think Wu Yang, you mentioned it, Wu Yang would have been really strong there to help, you know,
I would have taken a break too. I don't.
or a brig. I mean, sheesh, give me a
Something
Kiri
besides
brig.
something besides the rank ladder Mercy that just hits right click and says, "I'm doing my job, team. Why aren't we winning?"
I'm pocketing. I'm flying in the air. But you know, it is what it is, and ain't what it ain't. You know, I think that a big problem, in general, is that people swap too late. I think the ball could have been swapped to that diva earlier, because that diva was doing so well on Nepal. Over and over and over again from Timelost, especially because it's the same matchup of the Winston and the diva, you know? So
yeah,
it's just unfortunate that it took the last 10 seconds to swap to that diva, and, you know, and swap back to Pharah, swap over to everything else, and now at that point you have no ultimates but the Kiri Rush to overly rely on. You can't just fall back on Kiri Rush into a Pulse Bomb, into a Primal, into an Overclock. You just can't. You can't.
No, especially since Diva itself, so you can eat the nade. That was like the main bane of the existence of the conflict. On landing nades, and in a kind of a weird twist of events, after losing dive, Timelost has all updated to go to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Now hold on, not too much on game. Hold on. If they want to go to Gibraltar, oh, it's not even the pool. Wait, they're trolling. Can we get a little look at the map real quick, my beautiful
Oh, I
producer?
think they were looking at playoffs. They were looking at playoffs. That's what happened.
No. I'm gonna call him Chungus, because look at my look at my
Either they meant Dorado and put Gibraltar, or they just were looking at the playoff map.
No, they were trolling. No, it's okay to say they were just trolling. They just kind of defaulted thinking that Gibraltar was in the map pool. But if they want to go dive so bad, go Root, go Dorado. You know, those are two pretty solid
I feel
dive
like
maps.
if they do that anyway, because they get the first pick, they don't get first ban. Which means that literally just opens the door to be like, okay, we want Cassie to play Winston. You want to play Diva. We're going to make you play Winston. We're banning Diva.
Or Ball again.
Honestly, I'd rather ban the ball is like a less of a deal with on Winston, because Winston, you don't even really look at the ball on Winston when you're...
Yeah.
But Diva itself, like defense matrix, the amount of burst she has, can be a problem for the Winston. So you get rid of the Diva, you force like a mirror matchup, or you force Milo into a situation where he's not comfortable playing the Winston, and then you're golden.
I just think if they do ban Winston, oh, I'm sorry, if they ban Diva here, it's really funny, because you're gonna likely see that ball come back, right? But I don't think the ball was exactly the problem. I think there were some mistimings on kill boxes, on dives, and everything.
Can we
like
just
that,
blame it
but
on the Mercy?
I think that, yes, I was gonna say, I think the backline. give me a little Kira Lucio, give me a little on a brig. I'll even take a brig and a Kiriko. I'll take that. At least something to help mitigate that pressure from that Winston. Because, bro, Caster was going crazy.
Timelost is done trolling with their map selection. They have chosen Blizzard World. I 100% think Timelost is looking at the playoff pool, because Watchpoint, I think, is in the playoff pool. So, with that aside, Blizzard World, there's no info on Eternal Blue, because Eternal Blue has not played Blizzard World. They've actually only gone to hybrid once, and that was Hollywood.
Ooh.
Timelost lost Blizzard World, I think, against the Unction, which makes sense. Unction are really strong at Blizzard World. My first trial scrim with one of the teams I was trialing for was against a full force Unction, and I was like, I can't do anything.
I can't do it. I can't do it no more. Oh my gosh. I really do miss competing in SPCS.
I do too. I do too. I just had the unfortunate reality that I'm M4 on tank, and so which means I'm the peak rank of intermediate, and nobody really wants to spend like 80% of their rank cap for a tank player.
I mean, okay, I get it. I definitely get it. I mean, playing in an intermediate, but I was like diamond. My entire team was like diamond. We had one Masters player, and it was just like, yeah, we did all right. We were like low diamond. Oh, what a wonderful world. But
Yeah,
you're right. You know.
Let's see the ban fate. As I have spoken the truth, Eternal Blue, Diva's out of here.
Oh yeah, they said no diva, no problem at all. You know, and Blizzard World, I like it. I do like diva a lot on Blizzard World. I like dive. I think dive in general on Blizzard World is just chef's kiss. It's just as beautiful as Gibraltar. So you can kind of expect Eternal Blue to want to play Winston again.
Yeah, I mean, I used to hate Blizzard World.
I still
It's kind of grown on me, just because I figured out how to play it a little bit.
Oh, that's
better.
so real, actually.
In 66, I was like, this is awesome. I can play Sigma with Arissa and just sit up
Nope,
and
not
just
anymore.
do whatever I want.
Playing life on easy mode, I see. I can't believe it. I can't believe you've done this. No.
Hey, the team I was on in 66 just be one of those teams. So.
Oh, I see. I see. I understand it now. But no, yeah, like Blizzard World is one of those maps where no other ban. We're just not gonna ban anything. Okay, I understand.
I think Timelost is trying to figure it out. This is what I've seen. This is what I've seen happen, especially coaching rookie this season. Is if you throw Fork into an enemy team's plan with the ban phase, they will take extra time to figure out. Okay, what do we want to do now? Because they just completely stabbed our whole strategy in the heart. But Timelost eventually have uptick the ban. They banned Kiri, which I don't really think is going to be relevant here because I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna Eternal Blue is just gonna go on a break.
Yeah, just on a brig it out, you know, just on a brig it out and you're fine. You can literally play a Gibraltar comp on Hollywood for the most part. Wow, that is loud. Wow, okay. Blizzard Road is making an appearance. We got Blizzard Road coming up on deck. I'm excited to see what's gonna go on here. But like I was saying, you can play a Gibraltar comp on Blizzard Road. You can play a Genji Tracer, Winston on a brig, and do completely fine. You know, some variation here and there, some Freya maybe seen, some Soj, things like that. But otherwise, I do think that this is exactly what they were going for. You know, given they wanted to go Gibraltar first. This is the same kind of idea. Just do it a little better.
Yeah, the only concern is, will Milo actually play Winston, or if he's gonna try to play ball, especially with Diva being gone. So. We'll see about that. I will say that that with Sai being on Tracer, Cool Guy was less of an issue. He still was an issue, but he wasn't as much an issue as he was on Nepal because somebody was able to mark him, and his own teammate was sabotaging him. Actually, no, that wasn't a sabotage. He did that himself. What am I thinking? But going into this map here, just what I'm saying is, if it's not broke, just keep doing it. And Eternal Blue, just keep running the dive, especially since you look that strong against all the better teams in intermediate. I'm pretty sure if whichever team loses here, if Eternal Blue win this and Timelost lose, that might knock Timelost out top 5. I'm not entirely sure.
I think so, but they do have really even records right now. There's like a bunch of ties for 3-1 score lines right now in the general scheme of everything, the general play of everything. But you're right. I think they do get knocked down to like 5th. But as you can see from my eyes and your eyes, we're not seeing the dive come in, the Winston, the
Eternal
like
Blue's trolling.
No, absolutely not. Never. They would never troll me like this, right? Because you never heard the other Mercy in the brig? You're not a believer, I fear.
They're gonna teleport Fargo now for all they're doing.
Really not. No, this is real. This is completely real. Real and true. Also, Ramatra's back. A tank that we were talking about a little bit earlier about he's been really weak as of late just because of the general patch and everything. And
the patch that fixed the armor bug, and then they also decided to add insult to injury by making his block, like, you can't just block punch. You can block punch, but you open yourself up more.
Yep.
But the bane of Caster's existence here is going to be Lore on the Freya, because Freya still incredibly strong against tanks and pretty much anything in general, because Blizzard refuses to think that they should nerf her damage.
Oh, I know. It's really, what a wonderful world we live in, right, NG? It's a very wonderful world. What I love here is that we tried going for that high ground control, but Eternal Blue get completely looped off by basically everybody.
Oh, big nade.
The nade comes in with, of course. You gotta have that baby. That means you have to have that lamp. And for Goro, it means the team is alive at least a little bit longer, but they are gonna be retreating to the backside of the objective over where the main fight may happen for this brawl, right? So if you're playing this dive, it'll be a little more difficult to walk down this brawl because it's a sort of open space, but we're gonna try to with Fargon on this Reaper.
I mean, they have the Reaper to kind of protect the core from the Ramatras running at them, and then they have Sai and Caster who are going to make the main divers. But Adai is already almost up to that Nano Boost. Milo does get anti. Cool guy just smacks Sai upside the head, but Milo oversteps into the face of a Reaper with no block, no nem form remaining, and Lilac takes them down. Lore just had this bullet shot up, but Nano Boost out on the caster. Caster was a problem with this before, and now he's gonna be more of a problem. Lore already gone. Interestingly, Caster decides to jump away from the fact that he probably had dead to rights as cool guy.
Cool guy taking care of by Lilac. Yeah, on Vegeta, who now has Rally to re-engage, and Eternal can in fact hold here. They can, not hold. They can definitely attack at least maybe even for the window season. So whatever that was Rally. I mean, and the bullet shot coming from Lord, finding nothing. And the pressure onto Argon is definitely there. We see Annihilation in the corner of our eyes being seen from Milo. It's gonna be enough as the other team is trying to back up. Pokemon goes wide onto Vegeta, and we onto Milo taking care of the Mantra in the meantime. Only under 2 minutes. So you know that all they need to do is have a last pick. They're gonna do so with clean execution.
Yeah, this comes down to I 100%. I kind of read this like a book. Milo doesn't play Winston, so the D was gone. Now what do? Milo goes over to the Rissa now, but Eternal Blue, they're doing a good job of like. The Sai and Caster are hitting the same target. The nades are really clean. Fargon's just kind of playing bodyguard on top of Lilac playing bodyguard for Adai. So Milo just can't walk onto the backline without taking a face full of damage. Now Timelost, they're kind of in a rough position because they can't really contest the cart from where they're at. A massive nade from Adai, but Skip somehow picks Adai off before anybody on Timelost.
I mean, he was already in there. He was really trying to get that on out.
Oh no!
But you saw what I saw. We're not gonna talk about it. But
I think Milo got paid by Eternal Blue because that's the second time it's happened.
A little on this paper, like, hey, what if you just like
the Cash App notification just hit.
It's every single time they walk into it. I saw that time. I was getting right still, but that's what is there with the Nano, which we've been seeing over and over again, getting so much free value, forcing out so many of these movement cooldowns. Lower though, up in the air, time Targon anyway, but we still aren't able to get the leg up against that PC. Here's the bullet shot going wide from Lower. Will it find a target? It will be Sai going down, and Caster follows up on that low Lower there. Freya no longer in the engagement. Post pump online for Cool Guy. We've been seeing how impactful they've been as of late. It looks like we're not going to quite see the win here for Eternal Blue. They're going to regroup and reassess their next fight. Oh my god.
Well, goodness, for Eternal Blue, they only use Nano Boost fight. Timelost didn't use anything in response. Used the Bola shot, whatever. Bola is like basically a cooldown. Timelost are going to have their Sunberry, their window, and Terra Search upcoming, but Terra Search is basically cosmetic. Sai is just getting chased to the ends of the earth by Cool Guy right now. The Terra Search duel. Lower putting some damage on the caster, but that is just kind of being translated into nano charges. Adai's already 40% of another one. But Adai somehow manages to get picked in the fray there.
I mean, not somehow, that's just Freya. Welcome to Freya 2.0 has been strong since day one, and it's still proving to be a menace in the greater landscape of the meta. Now under 2 minutes left for Eternal Blue to find a way to move these last about 50 meters over to point B and get a second point on the board here, or ultimately they're going to be put held by this Orisa and this Freya arguably doing the most of the work here with 4 ultimates, 5 ultimates on the back pocket. I would think both 4.5 and 5 able to dive and the win, unfortunately them out early. Big nade, but forcing out the race form early on like that is not what we want to see. And we have the window coming in for on the high ground. Pulse bomb somehow, some way, trying to die. And Cardon goes up to the high ground all sticky like, so gets scouted out immediately by the tank.
The only good news for Eternal Blue is because they're dying really fast. Lilac using the rally here. Fargon just ditches the Blossom, realizes it's not really going to do anything, goes Sojourn. The only good news really for Eternal Blue is they forced out both support ultimates and Pulse Bomb. Yes, Milo will have the Terra Surge to work with the bullet shot. Eternal Blue, Caster goes over to the Zarya, just saying, okay, if you're going to put that much damage into me, I'm just going to put it in self-use for charge. The only issue now is there's only 50 seconds left on the clock, and you only have Nano Pulse coming up.
Listen, it's better than something else, right? Bullet shot on the rotation, time on a life it's just a fat 5K.
Milo with a 5K. Nope. But again, there's a silver lining for Eternal Blue. They wiped so fast. Now Timelost has 0 ultimates. Eternal Blue has Pulse and Nano here, and they definitely are guaranteed a touch. If Sai can get there.
It's gonna get really tight, though. Like you said, Sai has to get there in time, and you can already see Cool Guy is making sure that is not gonna come to fruition. The recall was, I think, early from Sai actually, so you're only relying on the blink, and they're not gonna have the Nano there. They're not gonna have Nano either. Casper is only waiting for the grab. Has only one bubble left. There is a touch. There is one on the point. It is Sai, I believe. Oh, no, not Sai actually. Someone else. Oh yeah, it is Sai on the point. But gets called out by Cool Guy, and again, it doesn't matter that there's no one else for a touch. This Orisa swap from Milo was the win condition needed for Timelost to stop Eternal Blue in their tracks.
Yeah, but then again, Eternal Blue just kind of telegraphed their rotations. Like, they kept going the same route again and again. Like the one time they tried to go to a different route was when they got caught by the Terrabola combo. So that's that. But I mean, Timelost, I will say though, their comp on defense is a bit stronger than what not Timelost's comp. Eternal Blue's comp is a little bit stronger on defense compared to Timelost's comp because you can basically like name their rotations, hit their rotations. You don't have to be the one to like. You don't have to be fighting into their positioning. You have your own positioning, and then you can just like engage onto their rotations, catch them out. That's why Blizzard World tends to either get full held or you get rolled, or like in the middle where like one team gets first point, but then they get chokeholded by the high ground on second. But I will say Eternal Blue's comp here, especially if they play it really well with the nade engages and stuff timing correctly, Timelost is going to have their hands full.
I know. That's the difficult part, right? Ideally, with this Winston comp, you should be able to hold here for a relative long time, and Timelost running on the Orisa, they're being looked at from all angles. This high ground from Fargon, from the off angle from, of course, Sai, Oddeye and Lilac, no interruption needed. But we're going for the same thing here. We have the Widowmaker coming out first from Cool Guy, but like he's going to swap off after I kind of first pick. No one is even on that high ground. They're not even playing these games. So this allows Cool Guy to come back to Tracer, and Lore is still on this Freya.
Yeah, and you see Sai set up a nice nade from up. It does Javelin spin is out from Milo just to rotate. They are being this high ground for, but I don't think Eternal Blue care because I mean they don't need this high ground really at all. And basically, I think Eternal Blue is trying to bait them down. They're just trying to get them to jump. Caster does engage. Sai gets picked off by a spear of Milo, and now all your main divers is gone, and now Oddeye's in a pretty rough position. Lore picks him up, and that should be first point going the way of Timelost.
I know, it's so unfortunate that Oddeye was not low ground, gets steered away, and then you get stunned by the wall. So unfortunately, there is really nowhere else for the Ana to go, and that just let them be a sitting duck for, of course, Milo on this Orisa, who has once again been a problem since picking the character. All 3 picks have been activated in favor of Timelost. Definitely not losing time here. They have 5.5 minutes to work with, only to push it past the 93-meter marker, and we're ready to see this high ground being looked at by Lower, and we're letting Fargon escape just a little bit, but definitely not without this Anthony coming on to Milo, but we're not going to really get any more of advantage for Eternal Blue. They got to fire off these guys from their high ground.
Yeah, this is where I would say a comp switch, like only one switch I would say would be Lilac getting off the break, going like maybe towards a Kiri or something like that, just because you're not fending off a dive anymore. You don't need the break. But Milo, a nice aerial spear onto Caster will stop his engage. But now Eternal Blue, they do this high ground control. They're doing a good job of holding onto it, but meanwhile, while that's going on, I think Cool Guy's just pushing the card.
I mean, as you should have did the job, you know, just to be the card push Sai used the recall on that card, and in that 1v1 against Tracer. But the high ground has finally taken up by Casper, who gets ripped off by the Lucio. He's helping it to mitigate this win a little bit here. Casper unfortunately kind of walked into the 4-4 comp. And look how close we are. We're only about 3 meters away from map completion. He came in touch with the terrorist right there. Timelost just walked right through Blizzard World as if it was a literal theme park. Not a care in the world, not going up 2-1 in the series on match point.
Yeah, the problem that Eternal having is like they just never engage. They just kind of like just watch Timelost do whatever they want to do. Like the Parasurge, the 5K here from Milo a beautiful combo in with Laura's bola shot. Laura did most of that work. Milo just got the cleanup, but Eternal Blue. I mean, they look strong on the dive on Esperanza. They just never engaged. They just kind of sat there and waited. And if you're gonna beat like a more brawly bunker comp like that, you have to create like splits and chaos and everything like that. You can't just let them walk free. And that's what they kept doing. They just kept them locked for free. Their attention got split with Cool Guy in the cart. Nothing was just really going their way, especially since like they kept getting picked up by either Lore was just doing a lot of damage in general too. But they just never engaged. They had like really good nades from Oddeye, but there was no follow up.
You're right, there was no follow-up. There was no follow-up on the Anthony, there was no follow-up on anything being done, and there was also no apparent, like, dive target, you know? You could go to the backline, you could go to the back, you could go to Lucio, great, but it's just not gonna work because no one else was there because Sai had to be focused on taking care of Cool Guy, who was, again, as you mentioned, on the cart. There was no Tracer to help follow up, and at that point, it was kind of just, where do we dive onto? We can't just send our Kiro and Lucio to go, or Anna and Brid to go dive. That's not how that works, you know? So, with that being said, I believe we're going to go to a very quick break between, oh no, we're not. Oh, hold on, we got map pick. We're going right into map 4. We got
I believe so. Saravasa has been selected by Eternal 2.
Okay, we are going to a very quick 3-minute break. We do have maps already. They're going to go to 2 bands during the 3-minute break. So we'll see on the other side of these 3 minutes. And we're back just like that. Oh.
I was not ready. I was drinking.
All good. Stay hydrated. It's always very important. Don't worry. But we are back with our map number 4. You almost said map 3. I don't know what I'm talking about. We got map 4 coming up. We have Saravasa as our chosen map 4 to go towards. And we look at the scoreboard. Look. We've been to Nepal. We've been to Hollywood. Not Hollywood. What am I talking about?
Each
Esperanza.
France.
Into
I think
Blizzable.
it's just a bad day for.
The memory's not remembering right now, guys. I'm so
The
that's
memory's not memorizing right now, even though it's right
yeah.
there. So
No, it literally was there for like a half a second. I was like, oh yeah, I read it, and then I was like, what did I just read? I just casted it, but Servasa coming up on deck here, and you mentioned we were talking about Servasa as a possible map 2 selection for Eternal Blue, and we were like, I think it could work for them really well. But the way that Timelost is playing these brawls with Orisa, with Zara a little bit earlier, I feel like this might be really good for them.
yeah, I don't really know how this. Eternal Blue. I thought maybe this would be like their ace in the hole pick. Zarya is not. They can't ban Zarya Reaper anymore. But who knows what Timeless is going to ban, especially since Timeless gets first ban here. But I won't be surprised if Eternal Blue they just try to run that Reaper, Winston, or something like that as Eternal Blue are 1 and 2 in Servasi, so it always hasn't. Neither has not gone their fair for time loss either. That's time loss 2 and 2. On it's 2 and 2 on the season for the map. Of course, New Junk City only been played once by both teams, and that was Eternal Blue too. And Atlas, of course, has been disabled for the last few weeks, so you can't. There's no data because there couldn't have been. Um, but wouldn't be surprised for Eternal Blue just to see like the Czar Reaper comp, like something like that come out, because you can't really play the on a brig here.
Oh yeah,
So
no.
I don't think they're gonna force that.
Yeah, there's
Um,
just no way they're gonna play on. I mean, if you play on a brig here, first of all, you might either be like Jesus Christ himself, or we're trolling. Like it's
I
either one or the
you
other.
might as well just be Shu and Chiron.
No, literally, but to be fair, I've seen it work, especially on like first point marketplace. A lot of teams I've seen run out Winston, you can say like Genji or Tracer or whatever, right? And he had like on a brig in the back. Sorry, I'm blind right now. So you would go not the main way that most teams like to go if you're playing like a Giant Queen, a Orisa, like a brawl. They go to the long angle, setting up their Ana and Brig on that long angle between the staircase and just kind of letting them free fire, because usually you're expecting a broad to be played, not a dive. So it kind of works out in that vein if you're really good at executing it, but it kind of does become a little bit old, and you do get targeted a lot more once they realize, oh, you're going to actually unironically play Ana Brig on Servasa. Yeah, let me run up on you real quick. I'm going to play dive. I'm going to play brawl and call it a day. But bans, you're right. Timelost has that advantage, has the ban pick advantage, and if they want to ban out, I mean, you can ban out anything. You can ban out Winston. That's been a really big favorite for Eternal so far. You can yourself ban out Zarya and just kind of take it out entirely from the equation. A little mutual ban.
Sorry, first map.
Oh, they did, right? Oh, okay. Oh, you're right.
Hey, there's right there.
Oh, you're right. See, shit. Hold on, shit. The glasses are off.
I
was kidding them.
My
But,
eyes, your eyes
yeah.
and brain are not
No,
with
not.
each other today.
I don't remember if it was Eternal Blue that banned her earlier, or if it was Timelost. I knew she was banned first by somebody. But there we go. They're both online actually, Zara and Reaper. Ooh, I see that come to fruition here.
Yeah. If you're time loss, I don't know really what you're gonna ban, because all time loss ban picks. They don't seem targeted at anybody. They just kind of seem, we don't want this. Okay, bye. As time loss ban Hazard. I know for a fact Hazard. What's going on here?
Oh yeah, they banned Hazard and then received.
And Eternal Blue 2 saying, "Cool guy, get off Tracer."
Yeah, taking out the Tracer as well is big. I feel like that's been kind of their biggest thorn in their backside, was Cool Guy on this Tracer for the entire time so far. So it's like, what's Cool Guy gonna play? Are we gonna supplement that with a Genji? Are we gonna supplement that with another flex DPS of some sort? Maybe a Venture? I think Venture is fantastic on Flashpoint. Granted, if you're not going into a Cassidy, that's also a big thing that could absolutely happen. But you mentioned it earlier where his scans, and you're right, his scans aren't as strong anymore. Soj kind of the outlier a little bit, but otherwise, your soldiers, your Cassidys of the world, they're doing all right, but they're not as crazy as they were pre-patch.
No, not just like when the meta becomes more faster paced like this, it kind of hit scan kind of falls out just because of the fact that well, hit scans kind of want a slower game. That's you use more Rissas and Matras. Um, but going into this match here, I wouldn't be surprised if like we'll go Zarya comp, uh, Timelost go like Orisa comp, or even a ball comp if they really wanted to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, I love that you mentioned, the bans that came in from specifically Time Lost. It was kind of just not really targeted bans, like you said. They feel more just like meta adjacent bans, meta targeted bans. They're like, we don't want to play against anything that's like overly strong, so we want to at least hinder a lot of choices away from the opposition, right? So the Zarya could absolutely come out from Eternal Blue. I think that could be a really big option, especially in a mirror between Milo and now Llama. Hi, Llama. Llama coming in.
Oh, Llama's coming.
Pray.
Okay, that signals one thing and one thing only.
I'm ready.
Queen.
Oh, I'm so ready. I love Mia. I don't talk about her as much anymore because no one plays her anymore on Survivata. But like, you're right. There's my queen.
I
Miss
knew it.
Junker Queen is back, and we got the Reaper and the Genji, the Kiri and the Lucio. I love this comp from Eternal Blue.
Yeah, so Llama coming in on the tank. Signals Queen. Timeless Milo showing Queen right now. A mirror as Sai is on the only difference right now is Skips is playing waifu. I'm assuming so. Okay, so complete mirror comps except for Kubai on the Venture and Sai on the Timeless have a lot more damage. Eternal Blue, they do a lot. They do an upfront turf with the Reaper Queen, but they have a little more assassination power. But that means they do have to play a little just like the Timelost does. As Susan would shout RE4.
Yeah, first one out so big, and this just, oh my god, I mean, even though they were the first one to use those cooldowns, Timelost just runs up on the opposition. I mean, they were somehow behind Timelost. They turned around and just eliminated the entire opposition. And I'm really glad that we are seeing the Venture from Cool Guy. I mentioned like they could play Venture. We could also play Genji here. I love that we need Venture because again, I think they're very strong on all of them.
Yeah, Venture is pretty strong. It's right now in the current meta too. We have a ability to engage with the mobile. Nice pull there from Milo on the all split up and on the same target. Argon manages to find chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And it was just a cleanup. I mean, again, very quick fight, not really much to say because, yeah, you lost 3 people. You lost your 3 frontliners. Your backline, you were able to get out. And other than that, we have kind of like Shock. We are coming up on, I would say, Rush as well, Rush and Beat. So this is big for Timelost to continue this advantage of keeping the point under their belt.
Yeah, they have the point under their belt here, especially Eternal Blue taking a different location here. But Cool Guy has Tectonic Shock already, so here comes a Tech Shock, and it is doing a lot of damage. Fargon gets killed by literally everybody, and that'll be the point there for Timelost going that way. I does manage to find goal in the chaos, but I actually think Gora is the only Timelost died, so I wonder if kind of poking fun at him in comps.
A little bit at the street, but we used just kind of strong. General Blue something off of the Queen, not wanting to.
Almost is not Queen.
And now we're on a Rissa. Yep, it is horse time. It is time to no more horsing around. We are just going to play the Rissa.
God dang it.
What's scary though is you're going up with no ultimate. So the Oddeye isn't even able to mirror the rush quite yet. We're baiting out to the deflect and the dash away from the Genji. And suddenly just Whoa, we're making things up. We are making things up.
I don't agree with that because the Halo Blue was completely split. Lilac and Stein were still stuck in the okay. I mean, yeah, eventually Far got unlocked. Now you got the decoy from Skips here and everybody's stuck in the. That'll be the fight. I mean, like Rush was only ult committed from Blue. Rush, you get time losses. Rush inside. Not the worst case scenario, especially with Lilac having counter out. Milo's upcoming Rampage. But you don't blame Blossom here, but I don't know how much value either one. Yeah, because like, just kind of.
I think it's pretty okay. Everyone comes out and
Oh!
into the Genji to make time to kill here. Here's the sound barrier and the blade combination is here. Land on Goro trying to teleport away to Sticky. Not gonna happen around these parts. No more eliminations coming in, however, as Eternal Blue are trading off the Reapers. Unfortunately for themselves, I'm gonna think down between. We're gonna commit this talk, and I don't know, you know, everyone's trying to just venture off the map. It's not working out. They're able to stay alive, but eventually, with no cooldowns left, it's just up to Milo to stay alive. It's 12.99%, and that is all that we needed for Timelost.
Yeah, I mean, Eternal Blue, they use the blade, and they use Beat. Timelost commit Rampage, Blossom, and Tech Shock. So, I mean, they got the better trade there, as Milo is just playing. Okay, we're going back to comp. I get it. Milo going over to the Zarya. Eternal Blue, they do actually have Rush out faster than so Odd-Eye can engage with that, and Fargon can just burst the Zarya before they can actually do anything. But
oh, it's perfect committed. That's a lot of people in those. The perfect time Suzu does come in, but no Suzu, no problem. Death Blossom does clear the area for Fargon. An extremely early fight here for Eternal Blue. And this is just a really good way to maintain his point 5% in their favor, in fact.
yeah, now the Reaper Venture kind of loses because with the Reaper Venture Queen, you can just walk at a person with the Queen. Now Zarya take a poke, you kind of have to wait. Eternal Blue, they do this rush up. Have them rush up to it. Faster rush out directly into the wall, but Skip somehow gets taken out. Llama tries to slide on their arm, and that might well be the point going to the side of Eternal Blue here.
The rush was great, and I get the idea from Lore and Kogai to go around, but there has to be some sort of frontline pressure coming in alongside your Zarya. I think Kogai could have gone there by himself and done the same thing as Venture with the Berry and called it a day, and he kind of pushed in the rest of his team, the rest of your core, up those staircases against the rush. Now, it's scary to do that into a rush, you know? The advantage was so much in favor of Eternal Blue, but it's still early in the also 1-1 so far. Timelost is already set up nicely on Garden here, and they have Rush to not only just re-engage this fight, but they can also just kind of win this entire engagement out. 40% already squeezed out early. Now here's the afterburn I was talking about, and this shield, I mean, that's fruitless. That's a little sucker post, and they become really run over by the opposition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here in favor of Timelost.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure the push from Eternal Blue was just a beta. And they did get the rush out, but they are staring down the barrel of a grab and tech shot coming up, and then they got beaten with Blossom. Eternal Blue, they're close to their own sound barrier, they're close to the blade. Fargon and Llama should get their own fight too. So, I mean, if they just play it correctly, have time lost, and then use their own ults. Or it gets forced up a little bit. Dude, Milo's taking a lot of damage. Grab will come in, but Sai takes down low. Whoa! Beat comes in from Lilac, and now it's just chaos.
Whoa! Yo, Lilac, health pool, it just went down so fast, and they had just like used sound barrier and everything. We do take out the Venture without them able to use the Tonic Shock, and there's a flip here. Original Blue with time lost, and there's an 88% charge Zarya running it down, and at this point, it is just a matter of cleaning up the opposition, and time lost once again retake at 75%.
They retake. Grab and Beat were the only ults committed from time lost. Eternal Blue committed Beat and Blade, so it was even footy. Now it's just DPS ult. That's just a DPS ult for time lost here. And you have the Terra Surge from Lava. Terra Surge does come out. I think it pulls it more into the team, and that will result in a point here. I believe for Eternal Blue. Fargon, I think, Fargon has Blossom shut down now. Now you're seeing where you might want Caster in here because you don't really have that power anymore to go to Zarya. And Fargon going over to the Hanzo. Very interesting against very close.
Yeah, Hanzo is just kind of there for that one-shot factor, right? Onto Goro, onto Skips, onto, not Lower, not quite Venture either, but the pressure also onto Zarya is very strong. Rush comes in though, and Oddeye is not going to see any of the advantages of that.
I went into a
rush.
wall.
I mean, it happens to me too. I mean, you're average intermediate gaming here. This was just a me problem. My Kitsune rushes against the wall. No better combo. Oh, I've been there. That's so unfortunate.
It's unfortunate too, especially since Timelost didn't use any ults. They just Rush came out from Eternal Blue, but nobody was in. Especially since now Eternal Blue comp can't really brawl that well anymore, just because they don't do anymore. And Timelost comp can just do whatever they want. Now with the engage, they have a lot of damage. Cool guy out with Spec Shot. Well, eventually killed far down. Eventually, Milo killed too in the process. Now, it's only Silver Lighty for at least 2 more chances to at least try to get to the point, but they're staring down the Brav and a Rush.
So they have decided to now mirror what's going on here from Timelost, except for the Venture. Yeah, we're going to keep the Genji instead, but the Zarya comes out from Llama. 50% to that Graviton Surge. Milo already has his own easily, and also so is Goro. I love the rotation here. Just going straight down the side entrance and kind of forcing a reposition from the Timelost. But there's, of course, going to be the Continue Rush, and there's the Reaper just kind of slinging the gun everywhere. We lose Llama, lose Lower with a grab, and of course, Cool Guy coming in with a 4K means that at 95%, ladies and gentlemen, it is over. It is done. It is a 3-1 on Flashpoint, and also the mirrored 3-1 in the scoreboard here for Timelost. What a series! Also, that they keep their standing. They keep their higher standing.
They keep their higher standing. Yes, they did drop a map, but for the most part, Timelost was pretty dominant. The only outlier was I think the Esperanza, which I believe what's called Esperanza, their skull map, just because they were 100% trolling it. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Yeah, this was pretty dominant from the side of Timelost, except for Esperanza was the only outlier. But in terms of MVP, there's only one person to give it to, in my opinion.
There is one. We're both thinking of the same person, but real quick, it is Timelost with this victory. Zuby, Kairos, aka Cool Guy 92323, Lower, Milo 16, Milo, Skips, and Duckily all having a fantastic performance. And from Timelost, we do have our MVP. Let's get the drum rolling, and boom, boom, boom. I hope it's ready. I'm like making all this stuff up, and my producer might not even have it ready yet. I love stressing you guys out. Oh, I'm ready. Oh, it's... I got you, bestie. There you go. It's,
yeah. Okay, Prado was a little bit confused. All right, we got this.
Our Prod got a little confused because we decided to have 2 different names for our bead nets, but our real MVP coming down here from Timelost. Real drum roll, please. Boom, 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 boom. It's not working, guys. It's not working. All right.
It's not working. It's Kairos. Okay, it's just Kairos. Okay.
I love like a scuff prod. I think it's my favorite kind of stuff.
Hey, there we go.
Right. Well, my man did not play Hanzo, but you know what? I'll take it. Let's get it with the MVP of the night. Great Tracer plays all around. When you're forced off the Tracer, the Venture was no disappointment. It was a fantastic showing. Bro, it was a fantastic showing from the player. Congratulations for the 3-1 record. Now looking at a 4-1 record in the overall standings. If we can get an update on that soon enough, we definitely will. But, I mean, again, here comes the standings. I love you, producer. We have Timelost going up 1, mirroring Dubu here. Dubu with a 4-1.
Eternal Blue dropping to 10th. I mean, they were 8th before.
Where are they? Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh. I mean, you also have, we gotta wait on 3 more series to happen, right? The 3-1s that are happening there for Eternal Chaos and both Eternals, actually. Wow, that's a live Eternals going on. But
last time I checked, Eternal Surge was 2-0 Concordia. I don't know what's going on with Eternal Fury, because I don't think either team streams, so I have no clue what's going on with that. I've been trying to keep tabs on it, but because I think they're talking in their server, but nothing yet, you know.
No, yeah, for sure. But with that being said, that is the end of the broadcast. Absolutely fantastic time as always casting for SPCS. It's a beautiful tournament. I really do love it so much. Season 1, you know, but into Season 3 is actually crazy to think about. But again, Timelost 3-1 victory. Great job to you guys. A little bit of a hiccup on Esperanza. We brought it back. You know, the hiccup was the Mercy. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call you out, the Mercy, Esperanza. low-key troll, but I forgive you. I forgive you guys. I forgive you guys. I can say that I competed intermediate. I'm allowed to say that. Smack, but you guys did fantastic. Otherwise, any last words, Angie, before we close the stream?
I think there's one more match tomorrow for advance. I don't actually. I think it's Bacon Pancakes versus Concordia Wildwind or Whirlwind or whatever.
Yes, good job.
That'll be the advanced feature tomorrow. I don't really know anything about either of those teams, so let's just leave it to.
Well, it's gonna be a fun when we do know that. You know, we're gonna have some beautiful casters, some beautiful observers and producers covering that match for tomorrow right here on the SPCS Twitch channel. If you're not following, why aren't you? Hello. If you're not competing in it, why aren't you? Hello. Come join the Discord. Come follow. It's not me too because. But come support in any way, shape, or form. And with that being said, I think that's all we have for the rest of the night. We'll see you guys for tomorrow's advanced games. This was just intermediate. There is even more action for the rest of the season. So we'll see you guys on the flip side of, what, 24 hours? See you guys in 24 hours. Have a good one.